Hmm?
Boy.
Nah, it's like going down 429. Yeah, it's pretty. What you got going on?
Nothing. Just freaking.
Relax.
No, not relax. Never relax. I wish, man. I'm dealing with my mother's problems. I'm always trying to solve something, man.
Boy, I feel that problem.
Dealing with my mom's issues back in New York. She got a whole mess, man. You know how it is. I mean, you already know.
Your mom or your mother-in-law?
My mom.
Oh yeah.
My mother-in-law had some other issues a few years back too, man. You know, like at a certain age, you gotta start liquidating and
Yeah.
getting rid of your assets and figuring that stuff out, man. I'm gonna set myself a plan because these older people are just not doing it. They not thinking about like what's gonna happen when I'm gone and what can I actually deal with. They over there doing investments and starting stuff. I'm like, yo, like you not. Yo.
I mean, yeah, cause that I'm situation with.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like when they I think a lot of times people don't think about like that's why you have to, even if you don't want to, you have to take care of things. You have to make sure it's ready to go. Even if it's like you have to keep up with things.
You got to be honest with yourself first.
And plus, a lot of times, if you always talking about the moms, it's like the first thing I think about when you say, "Oh, moms," it's like that's why you need a partner.
I was just telling my wife that.
That's why you need a partner.
You know, unfortunately, my mom is single.
Yeah.
Had she had someone else, it'd be a little bit different.
It'd be a little different.
Even
you're playing the husband part.
Even the journey to the circumstance would be different, right?
Yeah, of
you
course.
have years of 2 incomes. You'll have years of
leadership. A person that's thinking like you. It's not about the money. It's about planning.
Yeah, and we don't know if it'll be. I don't know if the person will make good decisions, but
the fact that she has somebody to make
by herself.
Yeah, she won't. You ain't doing bad by yourself, or you're in a situation by yourself. You know, it's not about, and I agree with you on that. Sometimes it's not about the situation being good or bad. It's about you doing it alone. And you need companionship the older you get, bro. Like,
it's so much harder.
And we always put that responsibility on our kids, and it should be that way.
And here's the thing: some people are naturally better at certain roles.
True.
Some of the things that my mother's probably going through, maybe with a partner, that person would do it. You know, they would step in. For example, I do certain things in my house for my wife to do, and she don't gotta worry about it. Yeah. I know she's covering the other stuff.
Yeah.
Like the same way as you probably do it innately.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go out there and mow the lawn. You just do it. You don't
just
even ask.
Yeah.
Your wife don't gotta worry about that. You know?
Yeah.
And that in turn saves you money. Whether you like it or not, you know, that's $90 or $120 you guys are saving.
Yeah, the guy charged me $70 last time. I couldn't get out there. I called him. He charged me $70. I was like, ooh.
You see?
With a little ass yard. I only got a big yard.
You see?
But I get inflation.
Right. You know, you understand the things, the price of everything.
Yeah, I guess it. Dang, I said last time it was this price.
You see, and your price is going up too. You know what I'm saying? So inflation is, you know, that's what it is.
Yeah, what it is.
It is what it is. But
yeah,
I
man.
mean, at this point, you gotta be honest with yourself, and I think there's a lot of, especially elderly, single people that are at the age where they should be preparing for anything to happen, not trying to, you know, diminish what they did or what they're gonna do. Because who knows? If you're not capable, then you need to like get yourself out of there, because you're gonna get into more trouble trying to accomplish things that's out of your scope. Like,
yeah.
You know, my mom's gonna need a lawyer right now. She's gonna the money that she try to make.
Yeah.
She's gonna waste it all on lawyers.
Why? Why she need a lawyer, bro? That's crazy. Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'm recording. Don't tell me. I don't want to put your business.
Yeah. It's all good. I mean, it happens, you know?
Yeah.
It happens. Try to help where I can. The thing is, there's only one of me, you know?
Yeah. You trying to help. You still helping and just...
You can only do so much.
So much,
too,
yeah.
Because at a certain point, I gotta be honest with myself too. If I do something wrong, it might cost
more
in the long run, right?
Yeah.
You know, at this point, all right.
And once you accept that, once you make this, help make the decision, it's like you in the results. Cause you're gonna feel bad if it don't go right, if it go wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You gotta know when to step back and when to get someone else involved, whether it costs you money or not.
Yeah.
I mean, right now in the long run, you better off paying up front and getting resolved the issue.
Yeah.
But whatever that may be, I just know that you gotta have those things. Oh, you gotta start thinking about those things. Gotta start thinking about those things because I refuse to let my kids, be a burden on my kids,
Yeah.
Like my whole thing is, alright, I get older, I have something set aside, for me. When my kids if they come to help me, it's gonna be something physical, but not like
financial.
Not financial.
That's real.
Alright, maybe I get old enough and I can't walk or something. Alright, cool, but it's not gonna be that they gotta take care of me financially, or that's my hopes at least. You never know.
Yeah, life is you try to do the best, and even if you did, you say I tried to avoid it. You
try to, but you also don't try to do things last minute and cause more complexity.
Yeah.
Because that's what seems to be happening. Like, why are you investing in something where it's out of your scope, where you need people to get involved, to make it work.
Bro, you said, you oh man, I don't even want to.
I know there's some similarities. Whether we're probably not talking about the same exact subject, but I think everyone's going through it in the same aspect, right? Like,
yeah, bro. Like, why are you getting this person involved in something that you wanted to do, but bro, like
you're not
you making them feel obligated to get involved.
And it sucks because you don't want to say that they're not competent to do it.
Yeah,
it's just maybe they don't. Maybe they're too old to, to deal with it at this stage in their life.
Yeah.
But
at the end of the day, it's like my situation be like, it's unnecessary. It's not a need. It's a want. Like a lot of things be.
And that's another thing, right? Why
are you doing all these want things when it's unnecessary? That way you don't even looking in the long run. It's all about what you want, but that's come from, like you said, they always want it, bro. They always want something new. It's like, why?
You gotta at that stage, you need to make your life as simple as possible.
Yes. Like, I think a lot of times it's come from I done cleaned up around here. Can't find stuff. It comes from when you delay to get you start to get little things that you were able to do because you couldn't do it earlier in life, and then you're trying to catch up on what you think you missed.
Almost. You're missing out.
Yeah.
You're missing out. Like, there's nothing. At the end of the day, we all go the same way. It don't matter how much money you got, or what you did, or like, we all come on this earth and leave this earth the exact same
way.
You're not missing out on nothing. All this stuff is made up. And
I agree with you, bro. I do agree with you. Like one of my clients, his wife be complaining about, oh, I want to go over here, like, what he said. What he said. See, my wife said, man, I want to go to this island and do all this extravagant Boca Raton, what is it called? Barbados and all this stuff here, right? He was like, bro, why would we want to go broke to do this stuff? At the end of the day, it's just beach and sand. Bro, I don't get it. I could go, we got beach and sand right here.
And you're not gonna know the difference.
You're not going to know the difference, right? He's like, bro, that's why I don't need to go nowhere. I don't need to go see other places. Cause it's just a different location, but it's still beach and sand and water.
And that's the thing too. Like, if you can do it without it being a financial issue, then go ahead. But if in his situation, in that scenario, in those contexts, he's right. In that context, why, if we are maybe not financially struggling, maybe we're doing okay.
Okay.
Why would we put ourselves in
why
a
would
position?
why would we okay when we got 5 kids? They got 5 kids, but
okay, man. Yeah, you can't be doing that because that's not a cheap trip either.
No, bro.
You know.
Or they're gonna drop the kids off somewhere or leave with.
Yeah, you still gotta pay for that. It ain't free. 5. That's not free. Ain't nobody watching 5 kids for free.
Oh my God.
You're gonna at least spend $1,000 for someone to watch them. I mean, unless you get lucky, you got grandma and grandpa that just whatever. But
yeah, I love them.
But
they older kids though.
You're gonna pay for food. You're gonna pay for them to eat. And right now, the moment you step out, it's $250. Every time you walk out the door, it's $250. Even if you breathe. And you know, that's why you're laughing, because you know, you ain't even...
Oh, I went to the grocery store. I got 2 bags of groceries. That shit came like $73, bro. Just two public bags of groceries, bro.
2 Publix, just fruits and vegetables.
Bro, that's it. $73. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I'm looking at it like, yo, I'm looking at the ad. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
How did the price change? When did? And that only feeds probably half of you guys.
Man, yeah.
Oh, that was just one day.
That was just one day, bro.
One day.
And majority stuff wasn't even cookable, bro. It was just stuff. It was just stuff, bro.
Some water and some
just
basic
water.
necessities.
That's it, bro.
Toilet paper. I mean,
I forgot to cut.
and that's kind of why, unfortunately, like you gotta somewhat live under your means to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You know, obviously everyone is gonna splurge, and this is a tricky economy, man. Like, you can't go by the books because the government is not going. No one's going by the books.
No,
Whether they're saying they are, if you're going by the books, if you following the same pursuit of the average person, if you're just accepting the way things are, you are at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
In one form or fashion, someone has a different advantage compared to you if you're just going by the books, and that's unfortunate. And you don't realize it until it's too late. You could be on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Everyone's on a treadmill. Some people's treadmills are going faster than others.
Yeah.
You know, some people are cutting corners. Some people have figured something out to help them on that treadmill. But right now, the U.S. economy is just a treadmill.
You ain't moving forward. You just running. You try to stay on it, bro. Cause if you go any slower, bro, you're gonna fall off that, boy.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example. And I was just talking to this with a family member. I had no idea what they were going through.
Mm-hmm.
They came to me for some advice. We talking. They're like, "Yo, I got the situation. I owe some money. This, that, and the third. I owe tens of thousands of dollars in credit card."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Damn, okay. I'm listening. Not trying to be judgmental. Just listening to what's happening." I'm like, wait, you owe this much. Do you know what your interest rate is? They're like, oh, not necessarily. All right, give me that information. Maybe we could figure something out. They tell me the interest rate for the debt that they owe. They owed 28. It was 28% APR.
Mm-hmm.
This is just financial literacy. I said, yo, this is wild. Do you know what this means? And they're like, no, I don't know. I just know that I've been paying. I said, you're never gonna get out of this. This is 28% interest. You know, this is one of the highest interest rates I've seen on a credit card. And I told them what I do. I said, you know, I negotiate all my interest rates. I don't care if it's a credit card or anything.
Mm-hmm.
They say, you could do that? I said, yeah, I've been doing that since I was 19. Me doing that since I was 19 is a different benefit. You got what I'm saying? I benefited from negotiating all my interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
This is my family member. I directly know them. They're in their late 30s. They paid so much more interest rate throughout their whole life. And the only thing I did was negotiate interest rates. All it was communication, sharing information. You know what we did? We called the credit card company, told them we couldn't pay this. Let's negotiate a deal. They got a deal, 0% interest for 18 months, and then after that, they lowered their card interest rate. I told them never pay what they offer, and it saved them thousands. And now they're on a better trajectory.
Yeah. We
took a bunch of other cards. We called those. I call every one of my cards all the time. I tell them, yo, I'm not paying 28% interest. I'm not paying 23% interest. What can you do? I like to use my credit cards, but at this interest rate, this is highway robbery. I negotiate all my interest rates, always, all the time. I just thought that was normal.
Yeah.
But someone could be going through something right next to you and not doing that.
Yeah.
And they feel like they're stuck. Not to say that that's the answer, but in the long run, you know what I mean? They could have benefited. They might not even been in that situation. I said, next time you get into the situation, because what happened was they lost their job. They needed to fund their lifestyle, you know? Basic,
yeah.
They didn't even, it wasn't that they needed to splurge, but they needed some money. And they used their cards, as anyone would.
Yeah, of course. That's what it's there for. For emergency purpose.
And I was like, look, next time that happens, if you have to use your card, see if you can get a credit balance transfer check for 0% interest at 18 or 13 months. And if you have multiple cards, we could figure that out. But you would have saved this much money had you done it this way. Because they were going to try to go through like a consolidation company. Those companies are scams, man.
Yeah. They close out and your credit go to shit.
They close out, your credit go to shit, and you can do that yourself.
Yeah.
And you're paying them. They charge a fee for you to do that. And and they were gonna do that. I told them, give me a second. I got a friend of mine that used to work at one of those. We called that person. My friend explained to them how they scam. I was like, look, he used to work here. I'm just wanting you to hear from the horse's mouth. Do not sign up for this system. And we ended up just negotiating with the credit card company ourselves. I mean, I do that with all my transactions. And it sucks to see people on a treadmill feeling like they're stuck when sometimes information can get them on a better track. Not even get them on, it's not going to get you off the treadmill.
Well, they get it down to like what? 15% or?
No, they got it to 0% for 18 months.
Oh, okay.
They got them on a payment plan. Now I told them once the 18 months is up, we're gonna call them again and we're gonna tell them we're not paying for that interest rate. Can you lower it again? What I do is I usually call them if I'm using the card, I usually call them every 6 months to a year. If I'm using a card, I'll be like, hey, I love using this card. I love using Discover, but the interest rate is too high. What can you do for me? I forced their hand. There's been years where I got it at 0 interest for 13 months.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you've been exceptional or whatever. And I also asked them to increase the credit limit. Not saying that that's the only thing, but I do that with my mortgage. I mean, with the mortgage, a little different. You can't just call them But with the mortgages, like a home mortgage, you could buy a point. You can figure out how to buy a point.
Yeah.
Like, I bought a point on my first house. This house I bought a point. This house I negotiated the point to come from the seller. I mean essentially I saved 30 grand buying this house. And the first house too, I saved 23,000.
Okay.
You see the difference and the disadvantage of someone that doesn't do that?
Yeah.
Like, you have to now save the money, and because you're not negotiating, you don't have the knowledge, you get it ran over. Or you have to cough up an additional $30,000, $25,000. And some people might not have that money. And to be honest, I didn't have that money either. But because I negotiated, that's the difference of what I saved as compared to someone that didn't. Right?
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, but that's the U.S. treadmill.
People just accept it.
I mean, knowledge is power.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, they can't force you to pay.
Well, you can only agree to what you negotiate to. On anything.
Yeah.
Now, it's up to you to see if it's negotiable or not.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, knowledge is power. If you don't know, you won't be able, that you can even negotiate it, you won't attempt it.
Yeah.
And let's say you're not good at negotiating, or you don't have the whereabouts or the competency to negotiate it, then what? Then you're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what that happens to some, some of the situations we're talking about with maybe our older family members, where they're just out of the scope. They don't know enough to do the things that they're trying to accomplish. And that's not their fault. It's not their fault, but unfortunately that's just the facts.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is they start pulling in family members that are competent enough but don't have the bandwidth to deal with it. You know what I mean? Then you gotta pull in the daughter, you gotta pull in the son, then you gotta pull in the sister, then you gotta pull in, and then the situation is already complex because it wasn't you that decided to do the transaction in the first place.
Yeah.
So you left with the remains of a transaction that had you maybe helped out from the very beginning or advised to not do it in the first place. But that's the...
Jeez.
Sometimes people are better off not doing the transaction in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
save everyone the headache, save everyone the money, save everyone, But that comes with wisdom, right? That comes with
a lot of things.
And that comes with checking your ego, and that comes with self-reflection, and that comes with being honest. And
About
you know what? I'm not gonna do this because I'm gonna put my kids through something, or my kids will have to step in if I do this.
Yeah.
Or if I am gonna do this, how can I accomplish this without involving my children the right way? And if you don't have a track record of being successful, it might be too late to do it. Right?
Yeah.
Because you can always find the right people to do those things, but if you don't have a track record of accomplishing things like that hard, then you just don't, you're just shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get something done, thinking that you could just learn real estate, or
Yeah, you gotta be careful, man.
That's kind of what my family's going through. They're going through some real estate stuff, but
Yeah, that real estate, man. You just gotta know about a lot of things when it comes to real estate, bro. Because real estate got a lot of rules and regulations you don't even think about when it comes to
can't jump
And in New York, I don't even know, boy. Ooh.
It's tough. You can't. New York system, man. If you're a tenant, if you move in, and you're a tenant, I mean, you could live for free for three to 6 months, and screw the landlord. You can't keep doing that, but you can get over on the landlord and save thousands of dollars.
And then they move.
And nothing will happen. And then you can just move to another state, probably.
Yeah.
You know, if the landlord went through the proper procedure, but you cannot kick a tenant out. Period. There's processes there. There's steps and processes, and you need to serve the tenant with a service company. You can't even serve the tenant yourself. You cannot be like, hey, you need to go out. Here's my letter. No, you need to pay a serving company
to serve the tenant.
To serve the tenant, so they can have an affidavit. Because if you serve the tenant yourself and you go to court, the judge will throw it out the. That's not proper serving.
Dang.
And then the judge will say, okay, now you got to get proper serving, and then the judge will say, you have to give the tenant 90 days after
being served.
Yeah, God knows how long they already been there. God knows how long they already been there. They could be there a whole year.
Dang.
And if you don't do the proper steps, which is gonna cost you money, and if the tenant knows what they're doing, they could take it to court and extend things. You know? But
So
you gotta
who want to be a landlord, bro?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and that's not just that. It's just kind of anything that you decide to invest in. Like,
no, I'm talking about New York with them rules, bro.
New York, forget about it.
I can understand, bro. That's crazy.
New York City, forget about it. That's why you gotta have all that stuff in order before it even happens.
Yeah, you got to already have a set procedures already ready.
Yep. If you don't have that in order, then it's like, I mean, why are we doing this? Why? It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen, and then you can't. When you rent into a tenant, you gotta do the background check. You gotta check their criminal history. You gotta check their credit. You gotta ask for pay stubs. You gotta see, what their total net income is. You don't want the tenant to be struggling, and if they're not struggling, why wouldn't they pay, right?
Yeah.
So it's common sense. And if they don't have a criminal history, then likely they won't do you like that.
Yeah.
And if they have good credit.
Some people got morals.
Some people got morals, and some people want to have good credit. Some people don't want to have.
They don't care.
An eviction on their record because they understand that they might need it to move somewhere else. So those are things that you gotta, and that's like any business too, right? Like you want to check everything.
Yeah.
If you're gonna start a business, you're gonna rent out a place. What does it cost? What's the lease look like? How do I break the lease? What's the procedure if I have an issue with the landlord? You know what I mean? All that stuff. You can't just sign a lease and then
I didn't know,
and then try to just get out the lease, and the landlord's like, wait, you signed here for 3 years. There's a fee. Or you gotta keep paying.
even when you're not here.
Even when you're not here, yeah.
And then what they're gonna do is you be paying. They're gonna put somebody in it and double up on it.
Why are you paying?
Why are you paying?
Yeah.
Same property. And say somebody else come in one of you. Now you paying them for 5 years. They got somebody else in. Cause usually those like property management or commercial property, they want you at least 5 years.
I believe that. there's probably some kind of fee. Like, all right, you won't be in here, but you're gonna pay this fee for 5 years. Cause
Yeah.
this is what our
To break
contract
it, to break a, bro. Sometimes some of these, commercial properties, bro. Like they don't care what if you go back, they still want the whole 5 year. Wherever you left on it, you paid. They're what they want. And you're not even dealing with, and it's different on them. You're dealing with a whole company. It's different from just an individual renting out a space. You're dealing with an actual whole mortgage company or leasing company. These plazas, you got property management, bro. They own it, bro.
Yeah, it's not just a landlord. It's not just a landlord.
It's different.
Yeah, it's a corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta have your stuff in order.
Yeah, you gotta have everything over there. Yeah, it's different with them. Yeah, it's different.
But that's the thing. You like knowledge is power,
Yep.
man. You can't commit to something without doing all your research.
Yeah, you gotta do everything, bro.
Can't. And you gotta have an exit plan, and you gotta have an exit strategy, and you have to have an if and but. And if you don't, you need to have someone that knows it like the back of their hand. You have to have the right people you can reach out to, but you also gotta be somewhat competent enough to communicate with them.
Yeah.
You know, because if you can't communicate with them, you gotta bring in your family member. Then you shouldn't be doing this. If I say, Roy, I got this business, but I don't understand what the lawyer's saying. Can you help me? Like, then I probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Because I can't even communicate with the lawyer that's supposed to help me to do what I gotta do.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're on this, if we're on this, bro, it's like,
That's okay too, you know, like ain't nothing wrong with that. Just maybe you need to do something simpler. Maybe don't do something so complex.
Yeah.
Maybe it needs to be something else. Maybe it has to be something you do understand. But people just.
One thing about business, but that shit all the same. Like when it comes to business, so when people want to get into business, it's like, okay, if you want to get into business, just the basis of, you know, what you got to do just to even get it started. Like, just the basic fundamentals, you know. Because business is like, yo, you got to have certain things in line. You got to have certain things just to even. So, I agree with you.
Some people don't get the basics.
Yeah.
The problem. And they're not even aware that there is basics, or there's a set standard.
Yeah, it is.
And if they do, some of them don't care to keep it up.
That's true.
That's true. You have to keep the standard up. You have to keep the bare minimum to have this.
Just to stay open.
Yeah, just to stay open. You can't give bad service, or you can't cut corners on certain things.
Yeah, you can't have
and expect to be a business owner.
You can't have City Hall coming down to you like, yeah, we ain't seen you in a while. Like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, your documents is outdated. Like, oh, like just to even be able to keep doing it, bro. It's like some people, like I got an email from the plaza talking about, hey, the City Hall has reached out to us saying everybody hasn't did X, Y, and Z. I'm like, dang, they really operate now? To where, because they reliable.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the truth, though. I mean, you want to be a business owner, you can't only pick and choose what part you do.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle it, you can't take care of it yourself, then odds are you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
If you gotta involve other people to the point where even the people that are professionals you can't communicate with, then you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Because you need help communicating with the professional is gonna help you. Then you just, there's almost no point in you doing it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and some people just, it's okay. Just
It's
let
okay.
the ego go. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, your life will be so much better if you're not.
I definitely agree with you.
Let it go. Stop trying to overcomplicate things. If you can't do it, just let it go. It's all right. You don't need to run a business. You don't need to, if you can and you can manage it yourself, then okay. But outside of that, maybe it's more of a burden than a benefit.
It's okay to try it, then you just be like, you know what?
Exactly. You're gonna try it, great, but don't bring everybody through the mud with you. Cause you know what I'm saying, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's happening. It's happening all over. I see it. Everybody's going through it to a certain extent, and
Yeah.
people are doing things like.
You know what I learned in business? Like, what I would tell anybody in business? Wherever you put on your job, if you think that's enough hours,
Add more.
add more. Add more, man. And if it's not, if you're incapable of adding more, don't jump into it. Don't jump into it. I had one guy, prime example, I had one of my clients, he's thinking about opening up a smoke shop, right? And he's like, yeah, man, I work too much, man. They want me to work this and this and this. I'm like, okay. So you gonna open up a smoke shop? Yeah. I said, but do you know operation hours of a business?
You gotta be there all day.
Bro.
I'm assuming. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, like, what time you gonna open? Okay, say you open your smoke shop at 10. What time you closing, bro? Like, you ain't closing at 5, are you? Or you gonna stay closed like 11 p.m. Like people smoke shop, bro, open late. People come in late in smoke shop, so you talking about
It's after hours, right? After work. It's a luxury.
that's
right?
not even counting when you just open up. You're going to be working there.
You're gonna have to. You want to open one, especially in the beginning. It's probably the first 2 or 3 years.
Bro, like the hours is crazy. When you be walking in these people be looking at these local like corner stores, and when you walk in there, who you see in there?
The owner.
The owner. He be there all day. Right? He be there all day.
Yep.
He open and close that thing.
Yep. I met this successful grocery store owner too, man. That just reminded me. This guy, he opened up a grocery store in the Bronx. The grocery store was called Pasquale's. This guy was in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got his family working in there. He was renting out one on the corner of it. I mean, the guy has to be a multimillionaire. He was in there all day. Eventually, he bought or rented out the unit next to it, broke down the wall, made it into. Then he broke down the next unit next to it. He damn near made it into a grocery store. He turned it from a little deli
To a grocery store.
and started breaking that. Yeah, and it happened. I mean, it must have took him 12 to 14 years.
But he did it.
I mean, you go over there now, it's a grocery store, and it's the same.
But he had a long vision.
I don't know what he did. I just know that everyone liked his sandwiches. He was reasonable. Everyone knew him in the neighborhood, and it was just a small deli.
That turned into a grocery store.
I mean, he started taking over. He started taking over the people that was losing their rents. You know, they would lose their rent, and I guess he was talking to the the owner, the landlord. He would break the wall down to the next unit. Break the wall down. Now he got a full blown grocery store over there. You know, and he still
probably
there.
he probably bought the building by now.
Probably. I don't know. Maybe, you know, with a business like that, I'm sure the banks would probably see it like, all right, we'll lend you the money, right?
Yeah. That's wild.
But the guy was in there
The whole time.
Not only that, his wife was working the register.
Exactly. That way they kept all the money.
His wife working the register. His kid was doing the deliveries. Like, they had a whole, and they were doing it for years.
And you know
what?
family
members making the sandwiches.
But that's how you come up. Everybody ain't trying to do that, bro.
No one's trying to really do that.
Nah.
They want the end result.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
They want the end result. But you gotta grind for that. You gotta put the blood, sweat, and tears, the sweat equity. And you can't halfway do it. And that's the thing, like you said. Hey, you know the hours? You know the
so
hours.
he came back. So it was funny because when I told him, I was like, cause he's like, yeah, what you think? I was like, yeah, I want to do some type of business, right? I was like, okay. And he said that. I was like, I said, dang, you just complained about working the hours, but you know how many more hours you about to do? So he sat back and thought about it. He said, yeah, you're right. He was going in with his business partner. I said, even if y'all do half, y'all doing 9 and 9. Or 10 and 10. Like, or 12 and 12. Like, bro, like a smoke shop be open sometime 12 p.m. 12 a.m. Like, bro, they be open. Like, you in competition with other smoke shops. If you're closed, guess where they going? So, like, bro, like, are you going to hire people in the beginning? What you going to do? So, I gave him all the other to think about. Guess what he did? He didn't open it up. He's like, nah, I don't think I'm on. Yeah, because, bro, like, business, people think business is, my life gets easier. No. It gets more complicated.
It gets more complicated. And as you keep going, you develop the skills to make systems. And,
yeah.
But you got to know everything. Yeah. You got to go through understanding each part of the business to even get there. To be able to automate and put systems in place.
Yeah. And then it's like, and willing to adjust when one thing's not working. Like, you're doing everything. You're not just working for somebody. You're literally creating this whole blueprint for this thing to work. It's your idea. And nobody ain't going to help you blossom your idea, bro. You got to be a real determined, like, driven person. You just gotta be driven like crazy for it to work. And if you ain't that, if that's not your personality, you don't do it. If you can't really willing to put in 15 hours some day, days or 15-hour days, don't do it. Don't do it. And understanding that it might not even work. You don't put in 15 hours and it might even work.
You might do it for 3 years.
It might not work.
It might not work.
You gotta be willing to walk away.
You gotta be willing to walk away, accept it, and walk away when you realize it hasn't worked. Some people will hold on to it, keep feeding their money.
I told somebody, I said, it's the reason why. At one point my business was doing bad. I said, why? Because I wasn't putting enough hours in it. I know why.
And you were honest with yourself.
Yeah, I know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like, you sit back and think about it. One time I was an instructor trying to teach, but they don't care about my business. They're like, yo, school come first to them. Right? And that's real thing. It's like, why would I expect them to say, hey, man, I gotta go, I gotta go. They be like, no, we still got class. I need you to be with these students. At the end of the day, my outside personal life has nothing to do with the school. Mm-hmm. So I had to make a decision like, yo, then I sat back and look at it. I said, okay, where's the majority of my time going? Oh, if I'm feeding this more, how can this blossom? That would make me stop. That would have made me stop being a teacher. So even when I do like I can't complain about oh man, why my channel not growing or my podcast not growing? Like people got to really understand if anything not growing, you're not putting in the sweat. You're not sweating hard enough. That's how I look, man. You're not sweating hard enough. I knew I wasn't putting in work. When I went on that bike, bro, I was tired as hell. That means I'm out of shape. That means what? I ain't putting in the work on my health. Why I'm trying to ride this bike? And think I could just go 10, 20 miles like it ain't nothing. No, bro. Nah, I ain't ready for that. What's up, my guy? I'm not ready for that. I know it's hard now. I said, I realize how hard it is. You know what I'm saying? I just realized how hard it is, bro. I slept on the process of things. Like a lot of times people sleep on the process of things.
Can't skip it.
Can't skip it, bro. I'm trying to jump to 20 miles. I need to get to 5 miles. Talk about 20. I need to get to 5.
But that's honest though. Some people
Yeah, bro. I'm honest. I know me. I'm always get punched in the face. When stuff don't work, I've been getting punched in the face when stuff don't work. So I'm always gonna be real with myself. Yeah, bro. Some people be like, I can do the 20. I ain't passing out.
They get hurt or they get
pull a hammy or. Bro, I had one guy come in here last week. Bro, he was talking about, man, why don't you come join the league, basketball league? I said, I don't know about that, right? I don't know about that. And he said, yeah. I said, I'm joining the tournament. I was like, okay, let me know how it go. Right? Bro, he came back. He came back in crutches, bro.
There you go. Yeah, you see?
Hey, I ain't talking about these type of crutches. Man, he had a whole knee surgery.
Oh, damn.
Now I don't know, man. With ACL, cause his kneecap got blown out on top. He said, "Yo, my kneecap was on my thigh, bro." I was like, "What?"
He dislocated his kneecap.
Yep, dislocated, tore something up under the kneecap, and then he was sitting on the court, bro. He said, "Man, the one thing I didn't want to do, bro, I was trying to walk off the court, but they advised me not to, cause they was like, oh man, walk off." They looked at his leg, said, "Nah, bro, we gotta call the ambulance." He ain't walking this one off. And guess who pissed right now?
Who? Him?
No, his wife.
Oh, right.
She said, "Yeah, my wife pissed, bro." I said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, man, cause she gotta go she gotta run all the errands, all the things we do, she gotta do."
That's why when I go play the gym, man, I tell this boy, like, bro, we gotta go to work tomorrow. Like, what are y'all doing?
Bro.
That's why I don't play with the young ones either, man. I'll be like,
bro.
I definitely don't play with them.
Nah, I don't play with them at all.
Bro.
But like, it's always these tryhards. I'm like, dude, you're not going. There's no scouts in here.
The young.
I'm about to be 45 years old. Bro. You're not doing anything against me. So it's a wrap for you.
You know, the young ones, they like to do the energy thing. I will run up the court, back to court. I'm like, all right, we're gonna play a 10-minute game.
I was just like, hey man, I'm sick of this bike. I'm gonna take this cycling. I'm gonna ride the bike, bro. Outside and just.
I mean, that alone will get you far, because most people don't do that kind of stuff. So if you just ride consistently, that's good. At least you're honest with yourself.
Yeah, bro, I'm honest. One thing about it, bro, I done been in top-notch shape before, and I know what it takes.
Some people.
I'm not no idiot.
When they talking, they remember how they used to play.
Yeah, I already know how I used to play, bro. But then, how I used to play, bro, I was $160. Like, right. I was $160, bro. I was flying for real. Like, I'm 100 pounds more.
Yeah,
like
anytime you foul, you just get up.
Yeah, bro. You fall, it's a light. You light on your feet. You know?
You say you walk it off.
Yeah, man. I got a whole gut, but I ain't had no gut then. I got a whole keg right now. What the hell I'm doing out there? Let me ride this bike, bro. I'm gonna ride this shit off. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I respect that.
I already know. Now I seen him walking. He's like, "Yeah, man. I should have." My wife was like, "Man, after the first game, he got like a gem in his hand, and she's like, I think you should give it up." After the first game, he's like, "Nah, I'm okay." Second game, he was doing the floater, coming down. Somebody was coming up, kicked his kneecap, tore everything up under it. Now he coming here. He said he was trying to maybe do a house call. I said, "Nah, bro, I got this chair right here, bro. This thing stretched that leg out because his leg got to stay in a 90 degrees straight." He got that leg on some brace where it's like it's
like it's straight.
Yeah.
It's zero.
Yeah.
Zero
Yeah.
degree, it's an immobilizer.
Yeah, it's just like this. So he had to go in there and they have to adjust it or whatever he was there.
It's his ACL for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have to progress him as it heals.
Yeah.
Like a little bit more, so it can stretch gradually.
Yeah. I'm talking about his leg was broke.
That bill is gonna be stretched gradually. That's a bill and a half.
He had insurance, so he had to pay
copay.
Yeah, $1,000 copay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And bro, the scar, bro, that cut was deep, but that thing that thing was long and blue. I was like, yo. Woo-wee!
My wife, she messed up 2 or 3 toes in her foot, and she had to put a plate. I mean, we luckily we had insurance, but we saw that bill, man. I almost, if it wasn't for that insurance, I mean, the surgery was like $30,000.
Yeah. My brother he was in a car accident, right? Good thing he had insurance, right? And he shattered his hip.
Oh yeah, damn.
Shattered.
The hip is no joke, man.
He got a hip replacement. Hip replacement like $75,000.
How old is
He younger than me.
he? Yo, have it.
Yep.
That hip is no joke.
He younger than me. He's what is it, 45? Just turned 45?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this happened like 2 years ago.
You can't be shattering your hip. Like,
I'm talking about he shattered it, bro.
but
like,
he hit, someone hit him?
the medication he was on, he fell asleep at the wheel, hit a tree.
Oh wow.
Good thing he had a seatbelt on. He would have died. And at first they just put a rod in it, like a screw in it, but it was hurting. So he like, yo, my hip ain't right after the first surgery. So they went and looked at it again, went to a specialist. They said, oh yeah. So he got one of them 30-year hips now. Like, technology crazy. He got a whole new hip. It don't even look like he had surgery.
And he walks fine. No,
Walk fine, everything.
But he could run. He's probably not.
Yeah, he could run, but he ain't doing none of that though.
Yeah.
You know, he ain't doing none of that.
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Bro, when I seen him before, when I went to let me tell you, like you said, that hip is crazy, right? He was so in pain. He said, bro, I feel like I'm about to die. That's how much of the pain it was. When he was in the hospital. And they were trying to pop it back in. They didn't even know it was shattered. They were looking at the x-ray, but his whole hip shattered. They trying to try to pop his hip back in, but.
That sounds painful.
But so, yeah. As me being an older guy, yeah.
You know, I had broke this arm when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The bone went this way.
Woo!
They had me in the doctor. I was sitting in the doctor's office.
Yeah.
And the doctor told my mother that they had to straighten the bone.
Ooh-wee!
You know I didn't let nobody straighten that bone. I was a kid. They had to get the security. They had to get everybody. I was fighting everybody in the hospital just to straighten the arm bone.
What, you got to straighten this? Nah, bro, you ain't
I said,
touching it.
leave it.
Leave
the
it.
bone like that. The bone was, I mean, it was broken, but it was still in the skin. And
yeah, but you can see the bone.
the bone was like this. And
Almost compound fracture.
compound
Damn.
And
God damn.
I think I must have been like 13, 14 years old. And I was like, nope, you're not doing it. And I was fighting the whole hospital.
Ooh,
I mean, eventually they held me down, obviously.
Yeah, they got you like, oh my God, they tied you. I was like, yo.
But if I didn't have He-Man strength, I didn't know where that strength came from.
The fear of the pain,
The
bro.
fear of the pain of them straight in the bone.
Just looking at your bone, bro, do not touch this thing.
In my head, it was hurting more than
Before?
yeah.
Yeah. It's probably because they moving stuff around, so yeah. It's gonna hurt for like that second, but once it's back, it needs to be back in place.
I mean, thankfully they did it because it looked like I didn't break my arm, right? But
you were trying to avoid. You rather have that arm crooked right now.
I was kicking people. I was pushing people to the side.
Why they give you something to calm you down?
No, they didn't. It was a fight, and I was with it. I was like, all right.
You say you were with it.
I was fighting everybody. I was fighting the nurses. They had the nurses in there. They had the assistant. They had guy in security. Every limb that I had, I was using it. I could. I was
like this guy in his first haircut.
Oh.
He was like 3, and I'm telling you, that kid was. Everybody was sweating except for him.
And you like, where do you get this strength from?
And he's like, why everybody look so tired?
That's exactly looking around like, what's going on? Like, man, yeah, and because you're trying to hold him down without hurting him.
Yeah.
You have to like use your core and not your hand strength to like hold him. So use my core muscles to hold him. I'm like,